Sorry? Sorry. I learned from my teacher that Panchatantra stories were the actual stories, the original stories that came from a book called the Gita. You heard of the Gita? Yes. So these stories have come from the Gita, and other storytellers in other countries picked up these stories and created other stories like Aesop's fables. So have you learned something today? So when we learn, it is our responsibility to what? Teach. Each one has to teach. At least? Okay. Each one has to teach one. Okay? Super. So standard 4 this year are going to become storytellers. Right? Standard 4? Okay, so that means I have a really big task to be a good role model for you. I hope I can be a good enough role model for you. You guys are awesome. Yeah. Okay, so this story is about a lion, a fox, and an ass. Who knows what an ass is? Thank God you said that. Okay, so this story is about these 3 guys. Now, once upon a time in a forest somewhere in India, who knows where lions live in India? Forest name. I got the name. In the forest of Gir lived the king lion. Now, Mr. Lion King had grown pretty old. And I don't think there were any lionesses around because he had no children. So Mr. Lion became very lonely. A lot of animals feared him. And he became very old. Now one day, after not having eaten for about 3 weeks, do you think you will survive 3 weeks of not eating? Who knows how often lions eat? No? Kachura? Twice a week, I think once a week. Once in 8 days, a lion eats. Now this Mr. Lion King hadn't eaten for 3 weeks. And he had become really, really weak. 21 days, yes, good in math. And he said, oh boy, I don't eat. I think I'm gonna die. Yeah, he went to school in America. So he decided, what am I gonna do about it? So he thought, I gotta get someone to do my hunting for me. And he thought about who would be the cleverest person in the forest who would be able to catch him some food. Any guesses? Oh, because it's in the title you do. Yes, that's right. So, he summoned Foxy. So how does a lion summon in a forest? He doesn't have any people, servants, slaves, minions running around. So he bellowed, Foxy! And Foxy heard him, hightailed and ran in the direction of the lion's lair. And he entered and said, yes, sire. And lion said, Fox said, I know you are wise, clever. You're also quick. Look at me right now. I think I'm gonna get you to be my minister. Foxy did not trust the king. He's not a fox for nothing. And he wondered what the king was up to. Minister? There ain't been no ministers in this forest. But, of course, Foxy's so clever that he doesn't let the king know that he doesn't trust him. So he bows low, obsequiously, and says, yes, sire, I
I thank you for making me your minister. What can I do for you? And the king says, Foxy, your first job for me is to go out and catch me some food. Do you think the king should hunt for his own food? And Foxy said, you're saying yes. But Foxy was too clever to say yes. So Foxy said, of course not, sire. Why should the king have to go find his own food? I'll do it for you. Certainly, certainly. And he hightailed it out of there. Now he goes into the forest and says, Are Baba, re, kaisa mein pakadega. Oh, शेर खान लायन खान कितना खाता है, इतना बड़ा बड़ा गोश्त लाना पड़ेगा. Anyway, guess what happens? Along the way somewhere, he reads this badass. And Foxy says, woo, Lassie! What you doing now? And Lassie says, you're looking good, Mama. And Lassie is so tickled to be so hungry. Not just an Lassie. Yeah, they have beauty pies in the house too. Yeah, it's the monkeys who do the work. Beautiful mane and all that, tail looking all bushy. And he says, hey, I've been looking for you. Lion King has sent me to find you. What is Lion want to be? And she trembles and she quakes. And he says, calm down now, beauty. He says, the king has told me he's going to make you his chief minister. And she looks at him. She's like, is he daft? I mean, me? Chief minister? Ah, I don't think I can be any minister. Oh my gosh, I don't want to be the president of the Lord. Oh, please, don't say it. Like, oh, please, oh, please. Say it's not true. Say you're pulling my leg. And Foxy stops and says, calm down, Lassie. It's the truth. And the king wants you. So he says, don't worry, I'll take you. Come on, let's go. And they both go. He has to walk like that because she's an ass. Yeah. So they walk toward the king's lyre, and as they enter, one look at the king, who decides to give her a big smile. So can you imagine a lion with a big smile? And she gets so scared that she retreats like 10 paces. So Fox, of course, has to be clever. So he says, oh, your majesty, ass here is just a bit shy. So the lion looks at the ass, up and down, and all the beautiful meat of her body, and says, I love such modesty. You know what modesty is? Modesty is when you are, you're not proud of yourself, then you're modest. Okay? And so he starts to talk to her and he says, ass, I've decided that you, and as soon as he says that, she gets so scared, she yelps like a cat on a hot tin roof and woo! And hightails it out of that lair. The lion looks at Fox and says, you're killing me! I'm so hungry! You tricked me! Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to eat you if I don't get some food. Fox stops. He's too clever to get scared. goes back out into the forest, finds Ass sitting by a river, quaking, knees shaking like that, and he says, "You're such a funny girl. Why did you run like that?" Sorry, and she says, "I thought he was going to eat me." And he says, "Of course he wasn't. He just wanted to tell you a secret that he didn't want me to know. Come on now, let's go back. He's calling you." And she says, "A secret? What sort of secret?" She said, "If you're going to be the chief minister, if you're going to have so much power, he's going to tell you all the secrets of the kingdom. Imagine, you will be the most powerful person after the king. And all the animals come to you to get famous." She was so excited at that thought that she thought nothing of going back to the lair. This time, she trotted into the lair and stood and looked at you. As the king looked at her and said, "Mamma mia, I'm so glad you came back, Lassie." And he went up to her and said, "Now let me tell you the secrets of my kingdom. Number one." And he bit her on the neck and she fell down dead. The king, as old as he was, with his arthritic knees, did a little bit of a jig and said, "Thanks, Foxy. I'll take it from here." But Foxy was too clever, you see. I told you he was clever, right? Yeah. So Foxy is too clever. So Foxy looks at King and says, "But King, a majestic lion like you, and a beautiful feast like Assie, why don't you go take a bath? I'll prepare it with the carcass." So Lion, of course, feeling all lion-like, all kingly and stuff, he said, yes, that's a good idea. I'm going to go take a bath. Watch my ass. So he goes up for his bath, and Wolf sits there. Sorry, Fox sits there, staring at this carcass, and thinks, "I did all the hard work. Why shouldn't I get some of it?" So you know what the best part is in a carcass? You know what's the best part of the animal? It's the brain. Yeah. So Fox says, "I'm going to keep the best part for myself." And he's clever, remember that. So he takes a knife, chops the brain, the skull open, pries it open, pulls out the brain and gobbles it all up. Then he lays the carcass on the banquet table, sets out a fork and knife, not that the king uses a fork and knife, he's a bit of a savage, he just uses his paws, and sets some music to play, puts some flowers on the table and stuff, and the king returns. And the king walks in and something looks strange. So he looks and says, "Oi! What happened to that skull?" So Foxy looked at him and said, "Master, have you forgotten? That's where you attacked her?" So Lion says, "Okay, I'm just too hungry to think." And he starts tearing apart the body and eating chunks of it. After he's a little bit satiated, you know the meaning of the word satiated? It means when you're not so hungry that you can eat a horse, you've eaten a bit and now you can eat your meal slowly. Have you ever been like that? Yeah, so that's how he was. And then he stops and says, hey, I remember, the brain's the best part. So he goes to the skull, pries open the skull, and says, oh, where's the brain? Wolf looks at him and says, sorry, son. And Fox looks at him and says, Master, don't you know, acids have no brains. If this one did, wouldn't have come back the second time. And that's the end of the story. Thank you.